All right, thank you for joining us on our bonus segment on ABC24 this week. This is a little bit of a two-parter, so let's start with the first one. Shelby County homeowners will soon see a slight increase in their property tax bill, unfortunately. After a lengthy debate, county commissioners approved a higher tax rate that supporters claim will help fund county services. Now, the Shelby County Commission voted 8-5 Monday night to raise the county property tax rate for tax year 2027. The approved rate increases from $269 to just over $270 per $100 of assessed property value. This is slightly less than the original proposal. For a home appraised at $40,000, the increase works out to about $20 more per year in county taxes. The county rate is separate from any property taxes set by the city of Memphis. All right, so I'll open it up to Scott as the former Memphis City Council chair, even though this is a county property tax rate. Is this necessary?
Well, one, and I don't mean to correct you, but in your
per 100,000.
No, it was not 269, 270 because the state clawed back because of the.
Okay.
It was supposed to. It should have been 266. Anything over 266 is an increase.
Yeah.
And we're a poor community. I mean, maybe to us, 3 cents might not. Well, on your mansion, that's probably going to cost you a fortune. But in my modest home,
thank God for my mansion.
In my modest home, I can afford it. Okay. Do I like paying taxes? No. But there are people, that they live not only paycheck to paycheck, but dollar by dollar. And raising taxes is a serious thing. So until you can say, yes, we have cut everything out of our budget without cutting, essential services and whatnot. And I'll say, like, as it's been referred to, the slush fund that all of these bodies, have and give. That could go. That's $2 million right there. A penny is $3.3 million. Taxes raised. So
wow.
So if they've raised
that's a lot to me.
Yeah. If they've raised it 3 cents, that's 10, 11. I can't do the math in my head that quickly, but is there not things in our budget that we cannot cut out without lessening the services that we provide and to help our community? I mean, we have poor people who can't, and some, it's only the property owners. Well, you think if you rent property that the landlord isn't going to raise your rent, because the taxes are increased. So it affects everybody.
Right.
So, to ask you, is it necessary? I wasn't there in the deliberations, but in my opinion, you shouldn't raise property tax until it's the last resort.
Do people trust the county in how they're going to handle the money?
No, no.
Yeah.
We do a poor job of messaging. Just a few years ago, we had another wheel tax increase. And that wheel tax money was supposed to go towards specifically a new Regional 1 hospital. And so we dilly-dallied back and forth. Now there's a plan to say, do we do the hospital or not? We were supposed to do something with the jail. The question is when you raise taxes, who is going to be accountable to carry out the purpose by which these taxes were raised so that we get the results in the community that we're looking for? We can't continue to say raise taxes for this or for that. Here are the improvements that we need. And then we look back 5 to 10 years later and we go, we didn't do any of those things. And we're still living with the tax increase. Once you raise taxes, they don't go away. Otis and I and Scott, we've been around this community long enough to remember a wheel tax.
It was a temporary
tax to get
for
air conditioners for schools.
Well, originally,
Regional 1, John Gaston.
No, originally I think it was for infrastructure to build roads to schools.
Right.
And it was just going to be a temporary tax.
But here's the thing,
now
messaging
never went away.
And execution. If you're going to raise taxes and you're going to promise me a better community, if I can see it, then I'm not going to fight you so much. But if I see it going into the lawsuits, plumbing that's busted in buildings, shutting down courts, stuff not happening, I'm upset.
And we'll get into that in a second. But Otis, you have the last point on this.
Well, I mean, I agree with both of these guys on this. This is a huge messaging problem here because they did not explain to any great degree what you're going to use this money for. That Scott added up in his head on how much these pennies are going to add up to. And that's a big problem here. I think it can't be lost on me that at least 6, maybe 7 of the county commissioners are not going to be there in September. So they don't have much hesitancy to raise taxes because they're on their way out the door anyway. And so, taxes, raising property taxes should be the absolute last resort. Even if you have some great projects like the jail and the hospital and all of that, but they didn't talk about any of that.
Yeah, but one of those commissioners is not out the door. He's running for mayor.
Well, that's
Very
true, too.
true.
Yeah,
And one of the
he'll have to
problems-
answer for that, too.
One of the problems that will be under his wheelhouse or umbrella is that jail. So let's turn our attention to that. A water main break at 201 Poplar caused a total shutdown of the Shelby County Criminal Justice Center offices and courts for a couple of days this week. And this is what it looked like inside 201 Poplar earlier this week because of a water main break that flooded floors on Monday. People crowded outside of 201 Poplar Tuesday morning for previously scheduled court dates, but arrived to locked doors. People we talked to said they weren't given a heads up about the closure.
Man, I wasted gas, I wasted time. I'm coming from work, and I got my court date today at 9, and I show up and they got this, so this is like really ridiculous.
Man, it's frustrating. It got me discombobulated. I feel like, man, they finna try to find a way to send me to jail, man. That's what I feel like. They finna try to send me to jail. Cause like, how's the court closed? They ain't called us, gave us no court date. I don't know what's going on. They talking about take a picture of a number. Man, I'm discombobulated, confused, and frustrated, man. I think they trying to lock me up.
I think that's a valid concern. And Shelby County Commissioner Mick Wright sent a letter to Mayor Lee Harris requesting a mechanical engineering and structural assessment of the Criminal Justice Center. It goes on to say these repeated infrastructure failures are no longer isolated events. They are symptomatic of deeper systemic issues that demand a comprehensive approach. All right. Who wants to bite at this one first? Because
I can't.
we've talked about the jail.
I'm angry.
I have perfect clarity. It's been going on in government since government began. We build things and we never set aside money to repair them, keep up maintenance. You can't build a building and not expect that you're going to have to reinvest. You might be able to go 5 years before you have to reinvest, but eventually, especially like 201, I mean, with the number of people that come in and the amount of wear and tear that's put on that facility, but yet there's not a dedicated source of maintenance to that building. We just don't plan well. And this goes across all government. It goes back, from when we were building. We have buildings that we built in the 60s. We had schools that we built that we never put any maintenance in. And now we're faced with almost $1 billion in maintenance, maintenance for our schools.
Yeah, I've only been here close to 4 years, but I will say...
4 years ago, it was only $500 million.
Right. Well, I will say, I printed out, the invoices that Commissioner Wright, and it's like, over millions of dollars for each separate little item here. But I'm going to say this. Whenever it impacted inmates and the correctional employees, it seems like it kind of gets pushed away a little bit in the 4 years I've been here. But then when we saw a total shutdown of the courts and the offices, and we can't carry people showing up who can't arrive to their court hearings, now there's an urgency, letter from Mick Wright to the mayor. Does that say something here? That it's not just about broken cell doors anymore and plumbing that maybe the inmates are subjected to, and now it has to do more so with everybody that deals with the Criminal Justice Center?
Now I'm going to let you talk about that one, Otis,
Well,
because that's a loaded
I think that's a valid question, a question to ask here. Who is being inconvenienced here the most? And it's sometimes the ones who can talk the loudest and get the attention, especially of the media, then they're the ones that get their issues redressed. I don't know the details of how the water main actually broke. I mean, water mains break a lot in the city, in communities. And seeing that water there, I had a hose on a dishwasher break one time, and I had to walk through water like that in my house. So those things do happen. But Scott is right on here. Let's be more intentional about setting aside. I do this in my own household budget. Let's set aside some money so that when something does break, at least I've got, if not all of it, I got some of it to take care of those maintenance problems. We have never done that in the city or the county, and probably not the school board either.
Well, I think it's one of the arguments is that it's time to stop with the tiny little fixes and just go ahead and make a big permanent change here.
What
Like
is
what, a
the
new
real
jail?
systemic?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but
so these are minor fixes.
But we
in my-
build a new jail today. What happens in 20 years?
So what's the
They will
systemic
neglect
problem?
the new jail and not put any
Well, maybe
money
not
into
neglect it for so
They
long.
do, but they will.
But what is the systemic problem? The systemic problem here is that the interests of some go ahead of the interests of others.
That was the
and
point.
people suffer.
Yeah.
Those who are suffering, we don't care. We don't. Their humane working conditions and incarceration conditions, we don't look at it as long as it's not touching us. The moment it becomes this public story that could possibly look bad on our ability to govern and to lead, or if we have potential futures that we want to look at something else down the road, we get loud and we get a bull.
Exactly.
This is not a new problem. We've had flooding there before. We've had no air conditioning before. We got locks that don't work on doors. We got all sorts of problems.
Fecal water.
Yeah, fecal
But
water
That's
issues.
just with this facility that's
we have prisoners. We got
the-
prisoners walking around with keys to do what they want to do.
drawing the attention at this facility. But we have so many other facilities that don't get the attention this gets to that are in disrepair.
Including those schools for
And
kids.
schools,
So
yeah.
that's
And I'm like
important.
that guy on the soundbite. I'm frustrated. I'm mad.
Discombobulated.
Discombobulated. You know, that was whole. He was right on.
So we don't take good care of kids in their schools from Shelby County. We don't take good care of prison population. We don't take good care of our county hospital, but we give private industry what they want.
Hey, that's a mic drop moment
Well,
there.
that's
We're gonna
a
end it.
whole different.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for the bonus segment. Thank you for watching 24 Plus. Always watch ABC 24 This Week on Sundays, and we appreciate you watching. Thank you.